And we start tonight with some breaking news here in Los Angeles, where once again pro-Palestinian protesters are squaring off with police in riot gear on the UCLA campus. Now, a little earlier today, those protesters moved in quickly. They set up another encampment, and police moved in to clear it out, just like they did a few weeks back. And all of this is happening a day after the UCLA police chief resigned after heavy criticism on how he first handled the demonstrations and the counter-protests earlier last month. And on the same day today, UCLA's chancellor was getting grilled on Capitol Hill over the last encampment. Take a look.
With the benefit of hindsight, we should have been prepared to immediately remove the encampment if and when the safety of our community was put at risk.
Well, a couple hours later, another encampment being met with police forming skirmish lines. Let's bring in NBC's Liz Kreutz, who's down there right now. Liz, it seems like things are changing there by the minute. Is that new encampment still up?
Hey, Gadi. Yeah, no. So it's been a very tense day here on campus. They built this new encampment. It's already been taken down, but now many of those protesters walked over to Dodd Hall, which is another main building here on campus, and they have occupied this building. We'll try to show you right now. You can see this is the main door to this building. There's coats and jackets covering the window here, but there are, and now as you can see, some of these protesters here trying to block our camera. They don't want the image shown, although, of course, they want their message out there right now. This is an issue that we've had, as you know, Gadi, with some of these protests, is some of the protesters not wanting the media here. But here, let's go ahead down so you can see they have now occupied this building. I did just hear one of the protesters outside, Gadi, say that they know that some of the people in there need food, so they're trying to figure out how to get them food. So that makes you think, how long are they going to stay in there at this point? What is their long game plan? Earlier today, Gadi, there was another encampment that popped up in another part of campus. Police showed up. There were standoffs, clashes, intense clashes between protesters and police, and they did ultimately disperse that encampment without, it seems, any arrests. And this all comes, Gadi, the day that the UCLA chancellor was testifying on Capitol Hill over his handling of these protests that happened here 3 weeks ago today.
Liz, kudos to you for showing us exactly what's happening right now, despite people trying to block that shot. Thank you so much. I got to ask, some of those early protests, they were massive. Are you seeing similar numbers, or is this one a lot smaller? Because right now it's tough to tell how many people are inside of Dodd Hall there.
Yeah, it is tough to tell. I think that it was a few hundred people earlier today at this encampment or around the encampment. Not as big as the encampment we saw. Like anything that we were here 3 weeks ago, that one grew to about 500 people, but it grew over time. It's hard to say how many people are inside there right now. Obviously out here it's a smaller crowd, but there are a lot of students inside. An exact number, it's hard to say, but videos that we've seen from inside right now do show several dozen, potentially more than 100, but I just don't have an exact number, but a decent amount of students for sure.
And Liz, we just saw the chancellor up at Capitol Hill kind of getting grilled about the response, saying, yeah, we should have rolled in to that encampment and not let it get so big and taking care of it early on. We saw them do that today. And then now a takeover of a building. Do we know what the police response to this is going to be?
You know what? We don't. We did see a lot of police, though, here earlier today, and it got really heated. Right now, though, I'm looking around, Gadi, and I don't see any police presence. Oh, okay, there's some campus security over here with their bicycles, but again, that's campus security. That's not police. So right now, they are letting these protesters occupy the building without any police response. And so I think I'm just looking around. We don't see police. So I don't know what's next, which makes you think perhaps they could stay there overnight, or which we saw at Columbia, other universities. The protesters have done this. And we should point out that UCLA is on the quarter system, so they actually had 3 more weeks of classes, while we saw other universities. Harvard graduation was today. There's 3 more weeks of classes here.
And one of the other things that's been happening at UCLA, where, clashes between protesters and counter-protesters. Have there been any signs of counter-protesters today?
Okay, so Gadi, just before we did this with you, there was a man that showed up who got into an altercation, sort of clash with some of the protesters here, yelling, Jewish people are not allowed inside. Why are Jewish people not allowed inside of this building? And that's been a big source of contention here at UCLA, with this idea of some of the Jewish students feeling like the encampments were blocking them off from their right to be on the campus. That gentleman, it seems to have left. But he did kind of get in their faces. So we'll see. So far, we haven't seen a big cohort of counter-protesters show up, though.
Liz, right in the middle of all of it, your reporting on all this has been so incredible. Thank you so much, Liz. Be safe out there. And turning now to a stage that collapsed at a campaign rally in Mexico that killed at least 9 people and left dozens others hurt. Now, this happened last night when a strong gust of wind picked up, blowing the stage to the ground that you see right there and sending hundreds of people literally running for their lives. NBC News correspondent Gadi Venegas has more on that tragedy.
Authorities in Mexico are looking into this collapse. We know that the moment that the stage collapsed, there were gusty winds in that part of Nuevo León and northern Mexico. Now, there wasn't any type of alert that went out earlier that evening because of the storms or the wind. After the incident, the governor did ask people to stay at home, making reference to the storm. So here's what we know. According to the governor, 9 people died after that collapse, and the latest number of those injured is up to 121 individuals with injuries. That number has been growing overnight. Initially, the number had been 50, and it just keeps going up as more information is shared by authorities in Nuevo León. This was a campaign event organized by Movimiento Ciudadano, one of the larger political parties in Mexico. Their presidential candidate, Jorge Maynes, was in attendance. And the video that we have of the moment the stage collapsed, Jorge Maynes is on stage, and you can see him looking up as the structure is falling and running to the back of the stage along with others that were on stage with him. Later in the evening, Maynes shared a video from the hospital saying that all attention was being placed on the victims and, of course, offering support to the family members of the victims. He's also canceled or paused for now all of his campaign events. Other presidential candidates have shared their messages on X or Twitter. Claudia Sheinbaum, the leading candidate in Mexico's presidential election, had an event scheduled in that same part of the country for today. That event has also been canceled, while Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador is offering federal support, sending in help to continue with this investigation and the cleanup in the area where this took place. Back to you.
Wow, such a tragedy. Gadi, thank you. And there's been another night of relentless and severe storms for millions across the country, including Iowa, where people are still recovering from the devastating power of deadly tornadoes. The one that hit the small community of Greenfield is now being dubbed an EF4 by the National Weather Service, with wind gusts of up to 200 miles an hour. 4 people were killed there. And you're about to hear from one woman whose home was completely destroyed, and take note of where she's standing, because it used to be her basement where she and her husband would have taken cover if she was home.
If he would have, if I would have came home from work earlier, or if he would have just stayed at home so that he wasn't out, or just any of that, that we literally would not be here. It's crazy to think about. You just think like that's where your safe spot is. And it's not safe anymore. Never was.
Unbelievable destruction there. Meanwhile, over in Central Texas, thousands are still without power after a tornado ripped through that region last night. And we can expect this same kind of severe weather over the next few days in big parts of the country. This is a look at the storm damage in New York earlier today. NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns is standing by with what to expect in the forecast. But first, let's go to NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa, who's in Greenfield, Iowa. Maggie, the governor is saying that more than 200 homes were destroyed. We just saw, I've never seen a tornado rip the top off of a basement. What's the recovery looking like?
I know, the basement is supposed to be your safe place, right? I think, well, the recovery, you can just see the damage behind me. It's daunting for most people here to even think about recovery. And then, frankly, when we talk to most people, they're just kind of going through and finding belongings. But I've talked to multiple people who have told me they're ready to move at this point. They don't see being able to move back into their homes. A lot of their homes are just completely gone. All they have is foundation. Or in the case of that woman, she doesn't even have a basement, as you point out. The FEMA administrator, this is how bad the storm was. The FEMA administrator came to Greenfield, Iowa today, surveyed the damage with Iowa's governor, kind of went home to home, talking to people, seeing the damage for herself. She says it definitely trumps what you see on the internet and on TV. She had to see it with her own eyes. And she said everyone here who needs and qualifies for FEMA assistance, meaning the uninsured and the underinsured, she says they definitely will get it. But, you know, Gadi, I was talking to her about what a busy spring this has been, and it reminded me of last year when we were covering so many tornadoes and then hurricanes. And as we got toward the end of the summer, you might remember FEMA warned it was running out of money for the entire year, like running out early. So I asked Deanne Cresswell, could that happen again this year? Could FEMA run out of funds? Here's what she said.
Well, we are facing another year where we're going to run out of our disaster relief fund. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be in about the August timeframe. We do things that we put in place to make sure that we can always respond for life safety, like what we're seeing here in Greenfield. But we are seeing an increase in the number of disasters that we're supporting.
Yeah, and as we watch this coverage on TV, like that shocks no one, right? We're out here tornado to tornado, town to town, state to state. It just seems like it's endless. We've only had 2 days this month where we haven't had a reported tornado. Again, this one happened Tuesday. It was an EF4. We had more than a dozen reported across the state. It's been insane, Gadi, and the recovery. I mean, it's hard to even wrap your mind around at this point, but people are trying.
Even that straightforward statement from the FEMA director there, I mean, it's not a matter of if they're going to run out of money. It's just straight up when, and possibly pretty soon.
Yep.
That's wild. We know that storms are expected to roll through Iowa tonight. Hopefully not as bad as obviously what we've seen, but for people who have lost their homes, where do they go for shelter?
So a lot of them are going to families or friends if their homes are there. Also, the local high school has been turned into both a makeshift hospital because the hospital was damaged and a shelter. So people have nowhere else to go. They can go to the high school and stay there overnight. We talked to a lot of people who were saying that they were just trying to get things out of their homes quickly, get what they could get cleaned up quickly, effectively knowing that the rain was going to come tonight. They had to get, like, you know, documents, photos, things that could get wrecked if they got wet, out as fast as they could. So everybody here hoping, and it seems like this will be the case, that it won't be nearly as bad as what they saw on Tuesday. But, like, it is the last thing people here need to have to worry about the weather again. So again, they're just hoping and praying that things remain relatively calm tonight so that they continue cleaning up here.
So hard to see those images knowing that people's entire lives have been destroyed there. Thank you so much, Maggie.
Yeah.
And let's bring in NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill, it is not just tonight. It's going to be a couple more days of severe weather, right?
At least, and if anything, Gadi, it's going to get worse as we head into the middle of the holiday weekend, especially Sunday. I'll talk about that in a second. Let me get you caught up on where we are so far today. Only one tornado report. That was in Nebraska. It was in a rural area. No problems with that one whatsoever. But we still have a chance in the next couple hours for an additional tornado or two. We do have these tornado watches, one that goes from western Oklahoma all the way back down through Abilene and San Angelo. And just to the east of Waco, Texas, another tornado watch has been issued. These will expire as we get closer to midnight tonight. And this one, just to the east of Waco, does have a little hook on it, so we have to watch that one carefully. These are very isolated supercells. This is not going to be a tornado outbreak or anything like that. Tomorrow, scattered storms. This is, again, very isolated. More areas in this yellow will get missed than hit. About 42 million have at least a chance of seeing severe weather. That's Chicago all the way down to Dallas, Little Rock included. But then as we head towards the weekend, a new storm system moves in late Saturday night. This is not during the day. During the daylight hours, there's no problem. This is late Saturday night through the overnight hours. Back here, Kansas through Oklahoma, including North Texas. So from Dallas, Oklahoma City, I-35 to Wichita to Kansas City, that's the areas of concern. And then as I hinted at, Sunday looks to be problematic. This is where we could see a tornado outbreak possible. We're talking areas from Kansas City to St. Louis, Paducah, Memphis, Nashville, Louisville, Lexington, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and it looks like south of Chicago. So that's a lot of real estate, and that's about why we have so many people at risk. So Friday, showers and storms in the areas of the Ohio Valley. Saturday, that weakens as it heads east. Late day storms here. Notice much of the West Coast and the Southwest looks pretty good. Pacific Northwest, your forecast gets better as the weekend goes on, Gadi. And even to Monday, lots of sunshine, no problems in the west. But the east, not looking for a great Memorial Day. Lots of clouds and rain, unfortunately.
And Bill, shifting gears a little bit, today we saw NOAA released a hurricane season outlook. It looks like they are predicting a pretty bad year, right?
Now, they're predicting a lot of storms. Now, if a lot of those storms hit land, it'll be a very bad year. That's the interesting part with all these forecasts. You know, they say what conditions are favorable for how many storms to form, but they can't tell us where they're going to go or where they're going to hit. And, of course, that's the most valuable piece of information. So what all of this really means, you know, when we're saying up to 25 storms, up to 13 hurricanes, 7 major hurricanes, the more storms you have, it increases the odds of hitting land areas. So if you don't have your preparedness kits done now, this is telling you your odds this year of getting hit are greater than other years, so get your preparedness kit, have your family evacuation plan all set, so if a storm does come your way, you don't have to worry about it. And so we're predicting well above normal, maybe even doubling what we'd consider an average year, and the 25 possible storms is the greatest number of storms that they've ever forecasted, Gadi. And the reason is the oceans are boiling. I mean, we have like a marine heat wave going on almost across the entire Atlantic. If you've been paying attention to South Florida and Miami, they already have record summer heat going on. And if storms form and head over that warm water, yes, we could be in trouble. So let's just hope all the storms stay fish storms out over the ocean, because if they hit land, they could be strong.
Fish storms. Bill, thank you. And don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Up next, Cassie Ventura breaks her silence about that disturbing video of Sean Diddy Combs beating her. What she's saying about domestic violence and that attack is straight ahead. Plus, warnings about a scam alert you don't want to miss. NBC's Tom Costello has the details in tonight's exclusive report. And the latest trend circulating on social media is how sunscreen could be bad for you. Dr. Akshay Syal is going to be here to shed some light on this myth and separate fact from fiction. Stay tuned.
For millions of years, we lived out there in the sunshine. Our skin is designed to accept the sun.
Hey, welcome back. More on the arrest of pro golfer Scottie Scheffler in just a moment. But first, here are some other headlines that we're watching tonight. Louisiana has approved a bill classifying abortion pills as controlled and dangerous substances. That bill now makes it a crime to use in most cases, and the governor is expected to sign it into law. And a person is missing in North California after their boat capsized in a river. Local sheriffs got word early this morning of a boat that went down in the San Joaquin River, and 2 people were on board, and officials say neither was wearing a life jacket. One did make it to shore, and police are still searching for the other one. And Hunter Biden's tax evasion trial is postponed until September. Now, it was supposed to get going next month, but a federal judge granted Biden's request to delay the California trial. He's accused of not filing or paying his taxes, and Biden is also facing gun charges in a separate case next month in Delaware. And singer Sean Kingston's mom was arrested by police as they raided his home in Florida today. She was arrested on theft and fraud charges. Kingston wasn't home at the time of that raid, but he did take to Instagram today saying that his lawyers are handling the situation. And 2 people have been arrested in connection to the assault on 90210 actor Ion Ziering. The mini bike gang. Attack happened back on New Year's Eve in Hollywood, and the riders vandalized Ziering's car and swung some sort of object at him. And now to this story out of the PGA Tour. New details today in the arrest of the world's #1 golfer, Scottie Scheffler. Police in Louisville now say the arresting officer did not have his body cam turned on, which is a violation of the department's policy. As Scheffler is accused of assaulting a detective, a felony charge, along with 3 misdemeanors before the PGA Championship last week. And his arrest happened as police say that they were responding to the death of a 69-year-old man who was killed by a shuttle bus outside of that tournament's venue. NBC's Maura Barrett joins us now. Maura, police also released new video that kind of partly shows what happened, though, right? Can you remind us what went down here?
Yeah, Gadi, this happened last week in the early morning hours on a dark, rainy morning. And so the video that you'll see exemplifies exactly that. But basically, as Scheffler put it, he was trying to get to the country club, the Valhalla Country Club outside of Louisville, to play in the PGA Tour. And he allegedly went around some of those traffic guards. And that's when police say they tried to stop him for a traffic stop. And they say that they grabbed onto the vehicle and he either knocked him over or they were dragged. The police officer said they were dragged. But what's unclear here in the video that we see is that you don't see that moment. You just see the moment where it's very grainy, very hard to make out, but what it looks like is police stopping the car and getting Scheffler out of it. And so police today at a press conference, when they released this video and the details of their internal investigation, police said there is no video that actually shows that interaction where those assault charges stem from. And so that's question mark number one as you're looking at these videos. But the police really honed in on the fact that they wanted to be transparent about that fact that they didn't have that extra video and it doesn't exist, largely because the police Officer Gillis, his body cam wasn't on, and that's a direct violation of department policy. And so that's something that they did an internal investigation on. They gave him corrective action, they say, but now they are looking forward to moving forward with the legal process, as we know that Scheffler's arraignment date is set for June 3rd, Gadi.
Did they give any reason as to why the camera wasn't turned on?
So the officer had to sign an acknowledgement form. I read through all the documents that were released today, and buried at the bottom, he had to sign an acknowledgement form saying he wasn't prepared. He didn't have his body cam operationally functional, which is part of the policy. And the reason he laid it out, he said, I got called to this traffic stop really early in the morning. I didn't turn my body cam on in time. And then as everything was going, they described it as a chaotic scene, everything unfolding very quickly. It wasn't in standby mode, and he wasn't able to turn it on. And so, again, he did receive corrective action because, remember, this is the police department that dealt with all of the body cam issues with the Breonna Taylor case as well. And so this is something that this department specifically has been really focused on.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a higher profile arrest on a day like that. What's next for Scheffler? What's his lawyer saying?
So his lawyers spoke with media after the press conference, and he basically said none of this changes anything because there isn't any evidence that supports the charges that you guys are talking about. I want you to hear a little bit more of his take after that conference today.
We're not interested in settling the case. We will either try it or it'll be dismissed. It's very simple. All the evidence that continues to come out just continues to support what Scottie said all along. This was a chaotic situation and a miscommunication, and he didn't do anything wrong.
So they're looking forward to those next dates and legal proceedings. Police and the mayor of Louisville also said that they're looking forward to moving along in that legal process. And so we have to wait about a week and a half before we'll probably get any updates on this, Gadi.
Mara, thank you. And coming up, a Tesla driver says his self-driving car didn't detect a moving train before it crashed, and the whole thing, he caught it on camera. That's next, but first, you gotta see this. This funky-looking fish was just spotted on a beach in Oregon, freaking some visitors out with its extraterrestrial features, if you will. It's known as a football fish, though, and it normally lives 2,000 feet below the surface, so spotting that is extremely rare. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. We've got an NBC News exclusive report that has new warnings about an FTC scam that you're going to want to know about. We're going to get to that in just a moment, but first, here are some of the stories happening out west that we're following. Police shot and killed a man in Rancho Cordova, California, after he killed his parents. Now, police responded to a call of a woman who said she had just gotten shot. When they arrived on the scene, they found her dead and the suspected shooter barricaded inside the home with his dad. He was shot and killed after a standoff with cops, and police are still investigating. In Colorado, Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera has been hospitalized with a deep bacterial skin infection. Primavera is a 4-time cancer survivor, and because of her previous treatments, she's more prone to those kind of infections. She's expected to be okay and released tomorrow morning. And snow, fog, and ice are creating dangerous driving conditions in Montana. 2 semis have crashed on the I-15, blocking lanes south of Butte. Towing truck drivers in the Caldwell area are also being required to use chains, and the Department of Transportation there is advising people to stay safe by looking for any downed trees on US 93. And earlier today, singer Cassie spoke out for the first time since that brutal video surfaced of Sean Diddy Combs assaulting her. On Instagram, she thanked people for the outpouring of support, writing, "My only ask is that everyone open your heart to believing victims for the first time. It takes a lot of heart to tell the truth out of a situation that you were powerless in." And joining us now is co-host of E! News, Kelty Knight. Kelty, thank you so much for being here with us. I mean, what else did Cassie say? We saw this leaked footage. Did that change everything?
I think it did. I mean, she obviously, because of this settlement, is not allowed to say his name. She's not really allowed to speak out on this. But the Instagram post that she posted earlier today has over 1 million likes already. Celebrities are coming out of the woodwork to show their support. And I think it was really important that she explained how a survivor of this type of domestic violence heals their entire life. She said, I am much better than I was then, but every day I am still healing. She thanked people for their support, like you said. And the most important thing, the takeaway here is believe women the first time. We don't know why we do this as a society. When people come forward with these claims, there's always this, well, where's the proof? She had the proof. She knew there was proof this entire time. And still people had thought, oh, maybe she's making it up. Maybe this is a money grab, as Diddy's first, statement sort of made us believe. She was right this whole time. She wants people to believe women.
So much shocking there. And yet, the 2016, when you see that, you're like, 2016, how did this not come out earlier? I mean, one question that everybody is asking now is, obviously we have the lawsuits. We're going to see things play out in court.
Yeah.
But what kind of effect is this having on Diddy right now? Is he taking financial hits? Is he losing partnerships? What's happening today?
This is a massive, horrific situation for Diddy and Diddy Inc. To name a few of the things he's lost, he was supposed to have a Hulu reality show coming out, Diddy Plus 7, which was him and all his children. That has been canceled. TMZ reported that he has sold all of his shares in Revolt TV, which he helped build. Peloton just announced in a secret members-only Facebook group they will no longer be using Diddy's music for any of their rides. Diddy had launched this global marketplace called Empower Global, which was supposed to become the new Amazon for black-made goods in America. 18 companies have dropped themselves from being a part of that company. Even his school, his nonprofit school that he co-founded, which was Capital Preparatory in Harlem, which was a tuition-free charter school, has dropped him. So even the giving back, the charity stuff that he did, doesn't want to be a part of Diddy. And he will, in my opinion, never come back from this. I think he needs to liquidate his assets, and he needs to go away and downsize his life quickly, because this is going to be a hard thing to come back from. And it's not over. I mean, I was reading today, 50 Cent just sold a docuseries to Netflix about Diddy, right? There's bad blood there. I mean, is that docuseries going to explore this or possibly anything else? Oh, yeah. The Diddy 50 Cent rivalry has been going on for close to 2 decades. 50 Cent has allegedly sold this multi-part documentary, which really centers around Diddy and all of the things that he's been involved in. And if you remember, 50 Cent just about a year ago released a diss track, The Bomb, in which he said, I know, in those murders of Biggie and things like that, like we know what happened with Tupac. Like there's so much history here, especially in the hip hop world. So allegedly there was it's so juicy, there was a massive bidding war. I mean, all the big streamers, and it landed at Netflix, which right. It was really fire. We'll be staying tuned to that. Yeah. Kelty, thank you so much for being with us. Your reporting over at E! is incredible. As always, we are huge fans. Thank you. Thanks again. And chances are you've already been targeted for some kind of scam, whether it's an email or a text or an old-fashioned phone call. Well, NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello spoke to somebody from the FTC about how to avoid being a victim.
Debbie Casey was at her computer when the email arrived, telling her she needed to act now if she wanted to cancel her $400 Geek Squad subscription. But she didn't have one. So she called the phone number in the email. That was her first mistake. She got a scammer on the phone who told her to click on an email link. And that may have been her second mistake, though she doesn't know how it happened. Within seconds, he was inside her computer and bank account, saying Geek Squad had refunded her too much money that she needed to return.
And before I knew it, he'd already sent through Zelle $2,000.
Of your money?
Of my own money, yes.
She's hardly alone. New data from the Federal Trade Commission shows Americans reported losing more than $660 million in impersonation scams last year. Probably, though, a tiny fraction of the real number.
They're trying to create a sense of urgency. They're trying to make you concerned that you're about to lose money.
The most impersonated companies, Best Buy, Geek Squad, Amazon, and PayPal, while the most money was lost to Microsoft and Publishers Clearinghouse impersonators.
I get these kinds of scam emails every single day. How should we be acting to protect ourselves?
Never respond to the phone number, email address, website link that's in the actual message that you receive, because it could be entirely fake.
One big flag if you're asked to pay with gift cards or cryptocurrency. Best Buy's fraud detection advice: do not call any numbers or click any links that claim you have an issue with your device. Publishers Clearinghouse says never send any money. If it is not free, it is not legitimate.
I felt like I was too gullible. I mean, it made me feel like I was totally stupid.
The FTC's advice: be skeptical of any email saying you owe money. Call the real company on a verified phone number and never transfer money to strangers. Back to you.
Great advice, Tom. Thank you. Turning now to Tesla and all those videos we've seen showing what the full self-driving mode can do. Some of them are impressive. Others are kind of terrifying. And this video that we're about to show you, it's gone viral, and it's definitely in the second category. And before we show you this, let me just set it up real quick. It is from the onboard camera looking down a foggy road. Full self-driving mode is engaged. And also, there's a train. So watch what happens. All right, that is that video raw. Here it is again with a little context. The driver, Craig Gadi, says Tesla's full self-driving mode failed to detect that moving train and stop on its own, so he took over and crashed into the side of the tracks there. The driver's now speaking out exclusively to NBC News and saying he takes responsibility for the accident, but he also thinks Tesla's self-driving tech is, quote, a defective product. Let's bring in NBC News tech editor Ben Goggin, who talked to the driver. So, Ben, the driver here taking responsibility for the crash, but also saying Tesla's tech is defective. How does he reconcile what seems kind of like a contradiction there?
Yeah, so I talked to him earlier this week, and I think that his answer to that really illuminates how confusing these crashes can be for the drivers themselves. On the one hand, I think they recognize they're the drivers in the car and they activated the full self-driving mode, but also full self-driving mode is supposed to be taken over. So let's listen to the answer now.
I am in control of the vehicle. I don't go around causing mayhem and getting in wrecks and, driving outlandishly. Deep down, it was my fault because I was the one in the car. I was the only one in the car. I was the only car in the accident. But I feel it's more that the damn car didn't recognize the train.
So Ben, this is kind of a weird... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when I spoke to the driver, he explained this a little bit to me more, and he said he got so used to driving in the autonomous mode. He drove 20,000 miles using the full self-driving technology. So this really took a lot of burden from him from his workday. And so I think that sort of can help explain to a viewer how this might happen. Because I think someone who's just, behind the wheel for the first time using this would say, oh my God, I'm going to put my foot on the brake right now as I'm going towards this train. And he just got so used to it, he thought it was going to stop.
It's so interesting you say that, because that's me. This is a weird one because it comes at a time when Tesla just rolled out the ability to opt in and test out the full self-driving mode to most of its cars. We have a Tesla at home. We got that option a few weeks ago. I've lost track now of the times that I've used it, and I got to say, there are definitely times that I've had to take over because it seems like the car wanted to do something a little sketchy. But it also seems pretty clear in the car about you having to be ready to take over at any time. It says that it's still in beta. It even makes sure that you keep your hands on the wheel by reminding you every minute or so with these steering wheel sensors, and then kicking you out if you don't pay attention. So my question is, was this driver part of this new massive rollout that's going out to everyone, or was he one of those drivers that's been doing this from the last time that they rolled this out as beta testing? Because 20,000 miles seems like he's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, so he actually purchased this Tesla last year in 2023, and he bought it with the full self-driving mode enabled and in the car. So he learned to drive this Tesla with the full self-driving. And as he told me, he became super used to it and reliant on it for his job. He does real estate and appraisals. And so he's going from house to house to house. And so at times he told me he felt like it drove better than he did. And it was a safer operator than he was. So I think that this speaks to how this maybe can create confusion for longtime users of this technology.
Yeah, it still, for me, seems like somebody with the learner's permit is driving, and I should pay attention at all times. Ben, thank you so much for that exclusive reporting.
Thank you.
And still to come, we have heard for decades that sunscreen protects us from skin cancer. So why is there an anti-sunscreen movement on social media right now? Dr. Akshay Sayal is here later to separate fact from fiction. Hey, welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. China has launched military drills all around Taiwan, calling it a strong punishment. Now, Taiwan's defense ministry says there were dozens of Chinese Coast Guard vessels and military planes surrounding the main island and smaller surrounding islands, and officials there say the drills damage regional peace. And this all comes just days after the inauguration of Taiwan's new president, who pledged to defend their independence. And protesters have not been letting up in the French territory of New Caledonia. There have been riots for over a week now, and it's all because the French government wants to grant residents who have lived in that territory for at least 10 years the right to vote in regional elections. But local leaders are worried that that will dilute the vote of indigenous people who live there. Today, France's president visited the territory, saying he wants the leaders to come up with some sort of an agreement. And women's basketball is expanding its reach. Toronto will now have the first WNBA team outside of the United States. The team will officially hit the court in 2026 and play at the Coca-Cola Coliseum. Toronto will be the WNBA's 14th franchise, and fans may even get to help pick the team's name. And a man in Austria found quite the surprise while renovating his wine cellar. What you're looking at here, those are mammoth remains from the prehistoric era. Now, researchers think that the bones are about 30 to 40,000 years old, calling it the most significant find in more than 100 years. And before we go, it is time for the future of everything, and we are talking streaming wars. Companies who were once enemies are now teaming up and bundling up, and we are diving into all of it next, so stay tuned. According to CNBC, the NBA is close to signing agreements with Disney, NBC, Universal, and Amazon to start televising or streamivizing on their networks, which would end an almost 40-year run on the Warner Brothers-owned network Turner Sports. And given that you're already watching us on streaming, you know better than most that everything from news to live sports, entertainment is very quickly headed this way, with the numbers from Nielsen showing viewers spending more time on streaming services while cable and broadcast viewership, it's trending down. And that shift in habits is part of the reason that more media companies are also starting to bundle services together. You probably saw the parent company of this show, Comcast. They just announced a Peacock, Apple, Netflix bundle. Disney did the same thing with Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max. Even TV maker Samsung is reportedly looking at its own version of a TV bundle. And CNBC's media reporter Alex Sherman joins us to try to break some of this down. Alex, good to see you. Let's start with this whole NBA media rights thing. What are you hearing about the potential NBC reunion here? Is that close to a done deal? Is there still a chance that Warner Brothers can swoop in? I mean, there's an orchestra on hold, right?
I mean, I think you guys are doing a disservice to the audience in even speaking to me. You should just run Roundball Rock for the next 5 minutes. That's all. I just want to hear the song again. I have my own nostalgia in that. Yeah, look, I think things look good for NBC Universal to regain the NBA. They've been without it for the last 22 years. My reporting today indicating that really the main holdup, I would say, at this point, the deal is not signed yet. There are 3 companies that I would say are in the driver's seat to get packages of games. They are Disney, which owns ESPN and ABC. They already have the NBA. They're the incumbent. NBC, which would be a player that would be new but back again, and Amazon, which would be brand new. The company that's left out in that is Warner Brothers Discovery. Discovery, Turner Sports, as you mentioned. Turner is TNT and TBS. They're on the outside looking in right now, but they have what's called matching rights because they currently own games. And as part of the deal they signed back in 2014, they have sort of the last right of refusal, you could say. And what I've reported is that those matching rights, they believe, may apply to both the NBC Universal package and the Amazon package because they both include TNT games today. So Warner Brothers Discovery may actually focus on matching the Amazon package of games, which could lead to some tension between the league and Warner Media, because I think the league would really like to give a package of games to a big tech streamer with global reach that has hundreds of millions of subscribers. Yes, Turner is a part of Warner Brothers Discovery that also owns Max. So they do have a big streaming service, but it's not as big as Amazon Prime. And also Max tiers their sports, which we'll get to in the bundle conversation in a second. So you have to pay more money to get sports, or you will have to when they debut this tier, likely later this year. So that may limit the reach of the audience. So there may be some tension there between the league and Warner Brothers Discovery. How that plays itself out, still to be determined.
Yeah, if they're going to match, they better bring an orchestra. Turning now to this interview that was done by our colleague Julia Borstein with the president of Peacock, talking about the strategy of live sports and the future of streaming. It was a fascinating conversation. Let's take a look.
I think streaming is the future. There's no doubt in that. I think leading consumers into that future is really about what are the future innovations? Like, what can we do with the Olympics to make the experience that much more unique?
Do you see the move of these big sporting events like the NFL shifting to streaming? Do you think that's going to make more people say, hey, I don't need to pay for the pay TV bundle anymore?
I think with the NFL, people are going to continue to watch the games wherever they are. So I would expect to see a sort of continued mix of games available across linear and streaming.
So the big question is, you hold something like that, the eyeballs will come, but will they stay? Is that something that you've seen borne out?
I would say the early indications are that consumers do stick around for a little while when big sporting events go to streaming platforms. Our parent company, NBC Universal, will really have a test case on that this summer with the Olympics, because so many of the Olympic events are going to be on Peacock. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of people signing up for Peacock for the first time, and then we'll see if they stick around. But sort of alluding to what I said earlier with Max tiering their sports, in today's world, it's just such a jumble of strategies between each of these different media companies. For instance, Peacock has, where you pay for Peacock, you get sports, but Max, you have to pay more in sort of a tiered way. And ESPN doesn't even have a streaming service yet that has all of its sports. They have ESPN Plus, but that's kind of ESPN Lite. The major sports are not even on that streaming service. So ESPN will debut its streaming service in the fall of next year, 2025. So we're living in this moment where every single one of these media companies has a different sports strategy. So it does make it kind of confusing for consumers.
Does not have a better test case than Paris and the Olympics. So fingers crossed. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And finally tonight, another day, another trend that seems to be taking over some For You pages on TikTok. And this one is just in time for summer, too. It's about sunscreen and whether we should be wearing it or not. And for years, our moms and dads have reminded us to put on sunscreen before we go outside. But now influencers are telling their followers to skip the sunblock and saying stuff like this.
I think sunscreen causes skin cancer. For thousands and thousands of years of human history, nobody had skin cancer. Yet in the last 20-ish years, we have sunscreens like Copper Tone and tons more skin cancer. Think about it. You're rubbing chemicals all over your body and face.
Okay, and some are even going so far as to say that Big Pharma is behind all of this, and then we've been brainwashed to blame the sun. The anti-sunscreen movement has gotten millions and millions of views on TikTok, with a lot of people putting the blame on a recall of spray sunscreen. So here to help us debunk some of these hot takes is our favorite doctor, Dr. Akshay Syal. Doctor, thanks so much for being with us. Okay, so time to play our favorite Syal game, Fact or Fiction. Let's hear what these influencers are saying about sunscreen. Here's another one.
Literally rubbing cancer into our skin.
And for millions of years, we lived out there in the sunshine. Our skin is designed to accept the sun.
Okay, Doc, what's the truth here?
Hey, Gadi. So no, sunscreen does not. You're not literally rubbing cancer onto your skin. I think that's what he said in that video there. You know, we've been hearing this a lot, and a lot of misinformation has popped up on this. But really, Gadi, the facts are sunscreen has been proven to reduce risk of skin cancer up to 40 to 50% when you look at squamous cell and melanoma. So definitely something, I think you mentioned in the intro, listen to your mom and dad. You know, they've been saying this for years and years. And to answer his question about, you know, humans have been going centuries and never really had skin cancer, well, we've also been living longer. Skin cancer is a cancer that's more common as you get older, and as our lifespan increases, you're going to see more of those cancers. You can see here it's the most common cancer in the U.S. About 1 in 5 will develop it by age 70. So you know, to answer your question, Gadi, fiction, not facts.
Oh. Good to know. All right, so some influencers, they are making an argument about all the names of the ingredients on the tiny font that are on the back of the sunscreen bottle. And, you know, you see that and you're like, okay, let's take a quick look at what we're talking about.
Sunscreen is probably toxic and actually harming your health. Oxybenzone, retinol palmitate, and other chemicals can actually be causing cancer and hormone disruption. And yes, these are in most conventional sunscreens.
All right, so oxybenzone for one. Is there any truth to this?
I don't want to totally dismiss this one, Gadi. So the reason that this has gotten a lot of attention, oxybenzone has been shown to be a potential endocrine disruptor in studies in rats. But the context here, Gadi, is important, and that is that, you know, in those studies, it's a really different dose than what you would get, you know, if you were applying sunscreen daily. So it's not totally off, but it's just important to keep in mind the dose is what matters. The dose makes the poison.
Got it. And the last question, real fast. I've also seen some where influencers are suggesting you make your own sunscreen at home. Do you think that's a good idea?
You know, we've been talking about how sunscreen can prevent skin cancer, the most common skin cancer in the U.S. Why would you risk it to a home experiment like Walter White? You know, if you're not somebody who knows how to make this stuff, you don't want to mess around. It can reduce your risk of skin cancer. So why even test it out, Gadi? Why take a chance? It really is that effective.
Walter White or Walter Can, I guess. Dr. Akshay Sayal, thank you so much.
Anytime.
And that does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you here tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.